It doesn't, and I could step away from Zillow for a second because it's going to be true in every scenario. It doesn't matter where you get a lead from, where you get an opportunity from. What matters is that you introduce yourself and you build your brand, and that brand starts as just a tiny little sprout, and it grows over time, but it starts with just one person.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome to another episode here of Your Peak Life podcast. DJ Julian Rivera hanging out with my man, The Sphere, aka Edgar Munoz. And we have another special guest in the house like we always do. But before we start, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And you're starting to see a lot of those shorts out there too, right? You know, YouTube has the shorts as well. It's not just TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all the other ones. So make sure you like, you hit the thumbs up button. If you want to engage with us, that'd be very helpful for the algorithm as well. Now I sound like any other YouTuber out there, but to be fair, it's real. So the more you do that, the more support you can show, the more we appreciate. And the more we get to have awesome guests like the one we're about to have on the show right now. So he flew all the way from Colorado just to be on this show. I want to be very clear on that one. We scheduled this months ago. He had no one else to see in town. He had no other agenda. He specifically flew here for this 30, 45-minute podcast so we can feature him. My man Sean I've been working with for years, and he represents a small company you might have heard of called Zillow. He's been with him for a very, very long time. Zillow, the biggest marketer for any real estate company in the entire world, in my personal opinion. But more importantly, Sean's a real guy. He's not AI. He's not just this random person I talk to on the phone. He's actually a real guy, real feelings, real strategies, and real results. So I would like to introduce you to my friend. He's not a football coach. He's a real guy, Sean Payton. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Julian. Thanks so much for the warm intro. I really appreciate it.
All right. Nice having you. See you later. Bye. All right. Okay. Perfect.
That was easy.
It was easy.
I appreciate it.
I told you.
There's somebody other than Alex that works at Zillow.
There's somebody other than Alex.
Got it.
Yes.
Oh, are we talking Mr. Barnes?
You're talking about the live transfer? The robo guy?
That one. Okay, yeah.
No, there's actually faces to the name, and there's plenty of people that obviously work at Zillow. But Sean, specifically with you, first off, thanks for flying out here to be on the show.
Absolutely.
And yes, he had other things to do while I was in town. It was a joke, but he made time in the schedule because when you come to town, it's like rapid fire. Like, you got to see everybody that you've been working with for a while. It's not the first time I've met you in person here, but you're organized. You're very regimented when you come to town because you want to make the most of your visit in the 3-4 days that you get to be here. Lucky for you, you came when it's hot this time. So you get to experience.
I like it when it's warm. Honestly, it was a big cool down from Colorado. Colorado was incredibly humid this last week.
Yeah.
In the 90s, 80s and 90s. It was honestly a cool down.
Yeah.
Being out here, and it's phenomenal.
Good.
So I've actually gotten lucky on my last couple trips to where I walked into more comfortable weather than it was in Colorado.
Nice.
So I've been very happy.
And the good news is typically he comes in blazers and, dressed to the nine. I specifically said you need to come and read the room and dress like us today. So I thank you. Other than you wearing the loafers still, I thank you for being here and the dress down of what you have.
You told me to come comfortable, and a pair of loafers is the way to go.
I'm touche. There we go.
And my shoes didn't match what I was wearing. So
it's all good.
Just can't do that.
You also only fly with one backpack, so I get it. You're limited to what you bring. But you're here, and you've been working with Zillow for how long now?
I started with Zillow, actually technically Trulia, in 2013.
Okay.
So that was in June 2013, so I just celebrated my 12th year at Zillow.
Nice.
Wow. What's crazy is I've been there longer than a lot of people have been around.
Right.
But the only way that it's been manageable is that I have to understand that ego can never get in my way, and I just need to be open to the changes. One of the things that change is consistent at Zillow more than ever. It always has. Just for the simple fact that real estate changes, the way people think changes, and the technology and the innovation that we have to find the balance at Zillow to treat it as both a startup and a huge corporation that has built up this insane amount of basically traffic and customer bases and a brand name that is trusted at this point.
Trust is a very big word, especially in the world of real estate. Especially when we're talking to clients all the time, sometimes we have, a full hour or 2 or 3 when we meet a new lead to build the trust. Sometimes we have 30 seconds on the phone to build the trust, especially when we're getting leads from them. So I'm a Zillow Premier agent. Edgar's a Zillow Premier agent. We've utilized the platform over the years. We've now graduated to a form of leadership and ownership in the brokerages that we own here. So we still are the Zillow agents and Premier agents when we have to take those calls, but most of the time our teams are taking that now so they can learn how to grow and scale like we did, because it is an amazing resource to have. It's a great resource to have. And to be fair, it's one of those tools in the toolbox you just kind of have to have if you want to scale in today's environment, like you're saying. pivoting, growing, adapting with the changes. I really feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, COVID put you guys on the map even more than you already were.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be very proud of my company for a little bit.
You should.
When COVID happened and things got hard, I saw Zillow do multiple things for agents, consumers, and me, like the lowly rep that has to log in and get things done. When it came to the consumers, basically like Beth the buyer, Susan the seller,
Yeah.
we gave them the opportunity to sort of get a starting idea through Zestimates on what their home's
Right.
worth, or search from home. And we saw such an uprise of people selling and buying homes during COVID because, you're sitting there in a room and you realize you're stuck there with the people you love, or maybe you need a little space from, and you get motivated to move. Zillow was a window out to the future for those consumers. And our traffic spiked, and then we had the opportunity to introduce new agents. And there was a point where we weren't sure what was going to happen. Especially, I want to say, this is 2020, April, May. We did what we could to make things a little bit more bearable for the agents that we worked with, that are advertisers and we have partnerships with, to make their lives a little easier through the first couple months of uncertainty during the lockdown. And on the flip side, you had a lot of us who were sitting at home who had never worked at home. I had the chance. I've been traveling with Zillow for many, many years. So I was kind of used. I had a setup at my house.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't just a laptop and hiding in front of the laundry room. I had a specific office and space for it.
Right.
Okay.
But they gave me a budget so I can actually build out my entire office. They gave me everything I needed. And they made the work environment that I had in a very trying time possible.
Nice.
And then from there, so it was just they took care of everyone involved. And this is something that you kind of jab me at every now and again. You're like, oh yeah, I know you're this and that, Mr. Zillow Corporation, and I will tell you, like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm 100%. And it's because of what they've done for me and my family.
Right.
And it's and I see it. I've seen what it's done for agents who, moved to a new area, just got their license, that haven't had training. You can go onto Zillow Academy and you could learn so much just from doing e-learning that's absolutely for free for every agent out there. Or you can sign up and talk to someone like me who's worked with thousands of agents at this point and give you a second voice on that.
Right.
I'm as stubborn as anyone.
No.
Yes. We can call it passion, but
There you
sometimes
go.
it's ignorance.
There we go. We've changed that. We've used that word a lot.
Yeah, it could be passion, ignorance. It really just depends. Sometimes I don't know what I don't know, but I will say that I have learned so much from the agents that I work with, and I've related that back over to other people to help other agents grow. I will never share someone's specific marketing plan, but there's basics out there that are so important for every agent to know, and it's crazy. Like, even with innovation, even with everything that's happening, let's say we start to use AI when it comes to figuring out who we're going to talk to, what to say to them. We still have to go back to basics on exactly what you're talking about, that first 30 seconds on a phone call to the first 3 hours where you're having a conversation with someone, where you have to learn how to basically transform from an internet stranger to a trusted advisor.
Like that. Yeah.
And for me, it's learning on the other side. We have to always be that sponge and student of the game or student of the individual. This just made me think of one thing. One of my favorite things I've ever heard at Zillow, and I wish I came up with this. But always focus on the person and not the property.
There you go.
Yeah.
And for me, because no one's going to buy that but 98% of people don't buy the first home they look at.
Facts.
Most people don't even buy the same area they look at.
Right.
I've seen the data.
I've experienced it. You've experienced it.
This is where I want to be, whether it be school district or the house or the area. And then you find out there's a Target just as close, like 8 miles that way, or whatever the reason was. And it just turns into, you have to get the chance to find the person and get to know them.
Well, and sorry,
You good?
I'm going to say something, but I know for me, my little trajectory through real estate here, I got here, so I'm a veteran. My wife's active duty.
Thank you.
We moved from Japan to Norfolk.
Yeah.
So
Really?
yeah,
I really didn't know that. I thought you had one more stop before you came here.
No,
Interesting.
No, that was
okay.
it. So obviously, as at that time, not an agent, just a normal consumer, the first thing we see is we got to move to Norfolk. What's the first place we go to? Is Zillow.
Yep.
Let's check out the houses. Boom, boom, boom. Well, we found some properties. We get here. I immediately got my license. This was 2017. I get my license. I'm going into real estate. And I could tell you from an agent who joined a company, which was just a shell. There was really no training. Although they call it training, it wasn't really training. My resources were Zillow, exactly to the point that you were making earlier. Was I was in there downloading the scripts, reading all the tips and tricks, because I didn't know anything else. I didn't have a network of agents or top producers that were my friends or anything like that. It was just me trying to figure it out, and that was my resource. Also, down the line, as I grew, and I invested, I want to say, in myself, I signed up to Zillow. That's how I got on. And calling your leads. I think people will say, it's too expensive or things like that. It's only too expensive if you're not following up. If you're not taking care of every single lead, not only answering the call, but following up after. Pro tip for those listening, one of the strategies that I took on was, just because I learned it from a personal experience as a military member, I didn't go off and buy off the most expensive zip code. I bought the one that was giving me the most leads, and that time was Norfolk.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that as our military members or spouses would make the calls, they would love the houses in Norfolk.
Yep.
But then we would go shop in Chesapeake and Virginia Beach anyways, which were higher price points. But I was paying a lot less for those leads initially. I just tell people when they complain about Zillow, they're going to take our jobs, this and that. I'm like, it's a tool, man. It's a corporation. They're killing it. There's always going to be spaces for everybody.
Yep.
Tens of thousands of transactions happen in just this area alone. And what is it? 5,200 agents have closed at least one deal in our area?
Out of the 8,500 agents, it's a hair over 5,200 has closed one deal this year in the market as of yesterday.
What's taking all those jobs?
Yeah.
From all those?
I highly doubt that the difference of, let's just say, 3,300 were just probably referral status, or they're probably not really trying, or they might have a day job and just have it to have it. There's 1,000 different scenarios we can come down to, but to your point, I strongly doubt that's the case.
Yeah, and to me, it's not about the split. It's about the, at that time, even then I understood that it was building the database.
Building the database and the relationship.
Boom.
It doesn't, and I could step away from Zillow for a second, because it's going to be true in every scenario, but it doesn't matter where you get a lead from, where you get an opportunity from. What matters is that you introduce yourself, and you build your brand, and that brand starts as just a tiny little sprout, and it grows over time, but it starts with just one person. The very first person you talk with, connect with, very Jerry Maguire-ish.
Yeah.
Where you build this up, you build up trust, you learn from each other, and you help guide that person in. And that's brand new agent. You do everything you can, and then you meet more people, and that's your base.
Correct.
That's how your garden grows. I mean, it's everything. I love the fact that you went for larger area of opportunity when it came to Zillow. And I don't think Zillow will love me saying this, but sometimes that looks like Realtor.com. Sometimes it looks like Homes.com. Sometimes it looks like PPC or wherever else. Sometimes it's knocking on doors and doing open houses.
No, I've done, and this is from somebody that's done Sync, Boomtowns, Zillow. I've seen, and now from an ownership standpoint, I've seen a lot of other lead sources. Yeah. A lead source is a lead source. It comes down to the individual. It doesn't matter. Oh, these leads suck. I hear it all the time. It's like, no, you suck. You suck.
Every lead wants to buy.
Yeah.
100%.
And even then, it's just, again, building a relationship. I've built relationships with people who still haven't bought to this day, but they refer me.
They refer you. Yeah, you're generating money off of just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
With an internet stranger, whether it be a $5 or $5,000 lead.
Exactly.
And going back to just when I was on Zillow, and I still am, I gave up my position to one of my team leads or agents at the time, and they've continued that. They've been moving the zip codes around. They answer the calls. And now it's to the point where his team member is answering all the calls, which is great. And every month I make sure we're getting that little badge just to make sure we're not fucking that up.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. So I like to pan out from your experience. So you came in as a brand new agent.
Yep.
From another country, Moved to Norfolk, which you've never been
Which
to
I'm
before.
not from this area at all.
Not
Zero
from this
family,
area at
zero
all. Like
friends.
100% transplant. You come here, decide to get your license because why wouldn't you? You bought a house.
Yeah.
You said, you probably said, I could do this. It seems good. Or the agent's like, hey, you should be an agent. You'd be great at this. Whatever the scenario was. You did what 80% of real estate agents don't do. And you decided to take a risk and do some things that made you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Whether that's financially, whether that's going to meeting strangers, whatever that looks like. And get used to doing something that's uncomfortable, which is amazing. And then you went through the cycle. You started, you grew, you took over, you mentored. And that person, they started, they grew, they took over, they mentored.
Yep.
And it is I don't want to say pyramid, but it grows, and you are basically positively affecting everyone's lives underneath you by just showing them a very basic path to do that. And that's huge.
Yeah, and the goal is, and that just comes down to training, is like eventually we all want to get out of production in one way or another, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so whether it's investing or whatever, you grow, but everything starts from that database.
Yep.
Also, to those people listening, if you're going to spend the money, but make it worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I've always been that way. If I'm gonna put money into something, I put skin in the game. Like, this shit better work. I want my return.
Yeah.
So, I mean, very comparable story. You came here, though, and didn't know anybody. Like, I'm from here. I know everybody, or I know a lot of people, but I wasn't in the game. In working with Eli Miller, shout out to Eli Miller and Compass Real Estate, we developed a plan, so I bowed out of radio to go into real estate. COVID just happened to hit a month after, but the plan already in 2019 was to do it. I was just doing one more year there because I actually liked my job. I liked my job, but I knew there was a cap, a ceiling, and I just wanted to bust through that shit and just keep going. So that was part of the plan that Eli and I put together, and part of that plan was really what you and him were already doing together for a while, right? So then when I jump into that, he's like, "Yeah, you can take leads. You're good. You're already good with." Outbound sales is what I was already doing for years anyway, and I've already built my brand. I'm like, okay, but it's different, right? It wasn't that different. It was very comparable to what I was already doing, but I didn't know that at the time because we just overthink shit, right? I was overthinking stuff at the time, but the reason why I bring this up, literally, Sean, I didn't tell you this yet. My first closing was December of 2020. That year it took forever to get licensed. COVID stuff was closed. I had to drive to DC to take my test, and I failed by 1 point. And I had to drive back it was a lot in a matter of like 8 months. But I finally got it. But I was still showing up to trainings, and I was doing stuff. I couldn't go show doors. I couldn't do anything, right?
Yep.
Then I had my first closing. Genevieve and Sean Malarkey. I know them very well. She came here from Washington State. He was deployed at the time. She came here, toured her mom. We bought the crib, Connie Way. We got it for low 400s. Brand new build, okay? 2 months ago now, excuse me. I helped them sell that house and buy a house that was worth over $800,000. This was 5 years ago, Sean.
Yep.
For my first deal, okay? So the thing is also, I wasn't the best at staying in contact with them. I mean, I did every once in a while. I didn't have like a drip campaign set up every week and they were hitting us or whatever, but I built the trust so much that they decided to come back to me because I did everything that I said I was going to do, and I didn't BS. I'm just as hungry now as I was day one. And to be fair, they might just be finding this out now that they were my first closing. They never knew that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my first time in business. It wasn't my first time helping a client because I was already doing that for years just in a different industry. Why am I saying this? Because Zillow helped in the very beginning catapult my career, helped you too, right? A lead source just happened. This scenario happened to be Zillow, helped. Now, there's other companies out there, they want to focus on you being 100% SOI. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's other companies that they want you to be in and just work leads all day. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You want to be 50-50? Cool. The cool, dope part is that there's no wrong answer to this. My formula specifically, I like 75-25. 75 SOI, 25% leads because you're always meeting new people.
And you're always growing and creating
Correct.
and building that base of what the SOI is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Edgar, you came in, you had to be 100% new. And,
Yes.
And new to the area.
That grows and evolves and that changes, but because I love how it's 5-year turnaround on that. Actually, it's about 5 to 7 years. We saw data
Here it's a
during
lot
COVID.
faster.
It's a lot faster
Yeah.
because you guys are so
Correct.
military focused, which honestly just adds so much to.
There's not another
roads.
market like this, bro.
There's not another feeling in anywhere else I've been and traveled to.
Yeah, it's very dense.
It is very unique. It's relaxing because it's got a good vibe to it. Just the Hampton Roads is phenomenal. I've always had eyes on this area. Thinking about if I move, it might be towards this area.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a person that was 5 years later, and we've seen data that says like, normally it was the average like 7 to 10 years before someone moves.
Yep.
We've seen some differences with, baby boomers deciding to stay just due to inflation and things like that, which will change those averages. You guys, your average, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
Moves?
Yeah, it could be 2.
Yeah.
literally, I have to close.
You can get PCS'd anytime.
Facts.
Yeah, 2.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
make rank, you got to go to a different station. Right now it's Chief season, so those people are about to get their orders, and some of those are not going to be staying, and they got to
Facts.
go rent or sell.
Right.
No option, and then they bought solar panels.
And so,
Correct. But those options create other opportunities and how we also have to get creative. Like there's just other ways that we have to do it. Like example, I'll bring Eli back up again. He didn't want to be in property management, but he's been doing it since college. But it's like a necessary evil, specifically in this area because you're moving in typically less than 5 years. You don't have much equity.
Yeah.
Well, coincidentally, the transaction that you're purchasing the house, that's a Zillow lead.
Yep.
Go figure, right? But same concept. So you're either going to lose or you're going to rent it and be forced to turn to a landlord in one of the best markets to be a landlord in because of the turnaround.
Yep.
But educating them is hard. Excuse me, not hard. Educating them is the challenge that once they sit down and they already have that trust with us, it becomes an easy answer for an immediate solution so they don't lose. And that's where we have Encompass Properties Management now in-house here at Iron Valley. That's very, very helpful. Managing over 300 doors, but also empowering other agents that they can still be involved with their clients, and Eli just helps them along the way, which in compliance, most importantly.
And not everyone could do that. I mean, Eli is a master.
Yeah.
He is an individual that I've seen sit behind, the biggest screen in the world and just get the data, understand where it is. I mean, he is an organized genius and just gets the work done, which is phenomenal. But, this is making me think of just one thing. I mean, you basically, your first transaction, to some degree, I mean, you did an amazing job. You did your part.
Right.
You did an amazing job. Doesn't matter if it's your first, 50th, or 500th closing that you've had. You made such a good impression on these individuals that they thought of you 5 years later. On top of, I'm thinking about I'm going to drop a line or something like that.
Right.
This is where I think Zillow does a really, really good job for agents who are premier agents. And that's that My Agent functionality.
Right.
Make it Julian.com, make it Edgar.com, and send that My Agent friend request.
Yep.
So you stay with them, forever. And in all honesty, once you close someone, you should be following up and beyond drip marketing.
All day. Yeah.
Drip marketing is good to remind.
Yeah.
But if you're not accompanying some type of personalized reach out,
Yep.
whether that's reading an article, send it to a good amount of people because it applies to them specifically, how you use tags in your CRM or something like that.
Right.
But you have to, it's full contact.
That's where this company has grown so fast, and also I've learned so much. When I came here as a team lead with my team, it's like, and we say till this day is the biggest secret is we have no secrets, right?
Yep.
Where I was lacking was following up with my database or staying in touch with my database. Those first couple of years, I felt like I wasted a lot.
Right.
But when you reach out to those people, it wasn't a bad transaction. There was no reason for them not or to be upset at me or anything like that. So it was just I wasn't reaching out. Now to the point where I was like, I host a little car wash, right? When pollen season comes around, we send out those holiday cards.
Yep.
We have a car show tomorrow. We're inviting all our clients, like things like that are
Wish
so
I was here
easy.
another day. Yeah.
It's fire. It's actually really
It's
dope.
actually really good. Just I want to ask this question: your competitors,
Yeah.
I'm
aware they exist. I'm just joking.
That's the answer. So,
No.
like we've seen like Homes.com rep, they come in here and they're like they want the business and
They're
they're
right
like
up the street. Yeah, they're right in Richmond. So,
they're like we're gonna knock Zillow off or whatever, and obviously you're gonna rep your company just like we do.
Yeah.
We have that competitive spirit. Who is your next competitor that's right there, or your next closest?
Our
Looking at data.
our Zillow's biggest competitor, the one we have to worry about the absolute most, is complacency. We are not going to sit and we are not going to worry about what Homes.com is doing. Homes.com is doing some amazing agent-facing stuff that's going to help. They're focusing. It's a very my listing, my lead situation,
Yeah.
and that's great for the agent. Where Zillow comes in, we want to focus on basically the renter to the homeowner or to the buyer to the homeowner's journey.
Right.
And that's our focus. Our focus is the consumer. That is the mutual person that, Zillow and real estate agents need to focus on, because that is the person whose life is going to change through these interactions. And that's why Zillow has grown, because we've always, our North Star, and we say this is written on our walls. The consumer is our North Star. Agents come second. I come further down the list. But Zillow's in there eventually. If we don't take care of the person who's going to use our site and find a way home, we don't have a site. We don't have traffic. And it doesn't matter how much we put into marketing, and Zillow puts a lot into marketing.
Yeah.
That's why you see us. I mean, I don't know if you guys notice, if you're watching TV and someone's looking up a home, who are they usually saying?
Zillow.
We do a lot of things on the back end. We
Yeah.
just try and focus on areas that are going to be put in front of the eyes of the person who is going to be most meaningful for them. I'm a big believer in, I've been saying this since October of last year for obvious reasons. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, good for you for getting your buyer agency agreement every single time. But I'm just saying, show your work. When it comes to showing the work, we show our work by making it easier for the consumer. And agents and Zillow are on the back end trying to make things work better, get you guys better, higher quality lead, different types of ways of doing things, different ease of use for the consumer, different ways to elevate properties within our own site to let people know, like, hey, like, this property is special, this is good, your agent has done better for you in this way. We want to bring something unique, but none of it matters if the consumer doesn't click on a property.
Right.
So higher quality leads, obviously you guys look at higher quality agents. I think that's why you guys put all those parameters in. Does everything turn into Zillow Flex eventually? Because those are the only people you want to work with?
I want to clarify what you're talking about. You're talking about parameters. So
parameters.
I got you. I got you on that. Yeah. So we have this program called Best of Zillow.
Yep.
And it's a simple path with 6 total metrics. 4 metrics lead to conversion. We want to make sure agents, if someone's calling, we want to make sure the person, Beth, the buyer on the phone, is going to get an answer. We don't want Beth to be on the hold longer than 30 seconds.
Correct.
We want Beth to have an amazing experience.
Yep.
So we want to make sure the agent who picks up the phone, then once they talk to Beth, that they're trying to get a face-to-face meeting. 80% of consumers are going to work with the first agent they meet with. We want to give you guys the opportunity for that. Next one we ask, next one is your showing home rate. Are you meeting that person, and are you converting them into a lifelong client, or at least someone you're going to transact with in the near future or put some offers in?
Yep.
And the last one on that 4 of the 6 is, did you convert them? So we just take a look at this basic path, like, hey, can you pick up the phone all the way to close, from click to close, as I like to call it.
Yep.
Then we have a CSAT, customer satisfaction, where consumers leave an anonymous survey about their interactions with the agent that they met with. And what we have, we've always considered, it used to be our only Best of Zillow, like, hey, if it's above 90, you're Best of Zillow, but now we've got these more metrics. And the last metric we have is operational readiness. These are the things that the top-tiered agents across the nation do, and Zillow gets to see this. And that's why we put that in front. That's the Best of Zillow stuff. And operational readiness, are you putting an average, like a good amount of touch points on every lead you get? Because if you're not, what are you doing? You're going to get lucky if they close, because they're going to forget about you.
Yeah.
We're in an out-of-sight, out-of-mind world. So, but I do want to address, so this is how we give a guiding light to help everyone get to where they need to go to. When it comes to flex market-based pricing, it's not about flex or market-based pricing. And that specifically is the payment model that Premier agents go with. Whether they prepay or pay or success fee pay. We care about working with the best agents for the consumers who come to our site, because the consumers are North Star. And it doesn't matter what side they're on.
Gotcha. No, and the reason I asked that is because as a company, as you're spending money, just like as a team lead or a solo agent, if you're putting out all this money or whatever towards marketing, and it costs money. I mean, we're talking about worldwide.
Yeah.
Like, you want to get that return eventually. And I would think that you want to align the best consumers with the best agents across the nation or world in that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in nation. Yeah. We're local. We're
I say worldwide just because, like, worldwide internet, right?
Yeah, I mean, people across the globe are looking at Zillow and reaching out to agents on a regular basis.
Yeah. And in this market, that's like right now, I got a guy in Korea, I got a guy in Dubai, and it's worldwide.
It's amazing how many people across the globe actually go to Zillow.
Yeah. I was one of them.
Yeah, that fair. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, we have kicked people off for not hitting those, for being bad enough on some of those metrics.
Yep.
You know, like if your customer satisfaction dropped, I remember the initiative. I haven't seen this happen in so long. I'm very fuzzy on it, but at one point, if you were a CSAT customer satisfaction score of 72 or less, 72% or less, you had to fix it, or we could part as friends.
Yep.
Interesting. Regardless if it was pay to play, it don't matter what the program they're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? It's not hard to,
Yeah.
you know, the average agent is sitting in. So like, you know, chances are if you see the average agent is around 87, 86, 88%. It changes monthly, but it's usually like right there in the middle from what I've seen.
Okay.
The agents who do more, who have the right conversations, who care about the people, not just the properties
Yeah.
and the price tag, they're the ones where you see at the 90s, 92s, 95s, 96%.
The Julians of the world.
Julian's
Got
of the
it.
world. And Julian, you are one of those ones who
Right.
will actually go so far above everyone.
Right.
I see very, very few north of 94s.
Right.
Very few. And I think I've seen you at 96, right?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That is insane. That's why that person 5 years called you back, even though you didn't do your job.
But it's just being brilliant at the basics, right? And I caught the joke, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just doing the basics very well.
Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, if you're bald, you should make sure that your entire
Have your
head
nose covered.
shaved. But, you know, if you let a little hair comes back, you got to do it again the next day, or you get cul-de-sacs in your head, and that's what it looks like. You have real estate for sale. But other than that, you don't have to do that. You can, you know, get under sub 90, but you want to try to coach people to get to that point the best way that you can. But again, it's not easy, bro. Like, it's not easy, but but consistently doing it is the easy part.
Yeah, and finding and being okay with it dropping.
Yeah.
Being okay with it dropping
That's
and
the- yeah.
and using that as, you know, using that as motivation to see what you're doing wrong and take a look in the mirror.
Especially if you look in the mirror and then you see that fuzz on your head too, you probably should want to shave it before you're on that camera all day.
Is this every time?
Almost every time. We haven't joked around in a while. Like,
It's good.
My biggest jokes are like, you know, like I actually was just watching Tom Hanks, and what's that movie where he's like on the middle of the ocean?
Oh yeah, what with Castaway?
Castaway, right? And it's like,
What a
I was
lonely
thinking about
ball.
him, and it was like the island, right? He finally sees it. You see that airline way back there,
Oh man.
and it's like, oh, I see land.
See, the good news with me, my jokes are conversational. He has to really think about it and explain it before he tries to get a laugh. So unfortunately, you still got a little
You
bit.
know,
of
I thought I was going to be in a place where you guys were going to lift each other up, but here you guys
no,
are
no,
just
it's
running
friendly
from each other's
competition.
hairlines.
I mean,
that's
I
really
have
all it
one.
is.
So that's the good
Mine's
part.
happening too. I got a huge.
No, you got the
forehead.
dope ass widow's peak. It looks like you're ready to go into a Harry Potter movie. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
our other partner Eric, he's in
Mr.
California.
Potter.
Yeah,
He's got a big old widow's
you
peak.
got a full blown widow's peak.
We don't.
No, neither of us do. That's not Hispanic of us.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything you could change or like advise to, you know, these agents, like what would you like to tell them? Like for those naysayers, maybe they're like, they're taking our jobs.
So, yeah, that's good.
Trigger jokes.
I'd like to know the stats of how many people that are saying that are actually doing a lot of business.
Well, not only that, how many people got on and just didn't do their fucking job? Right?
What's the data
Because you
behind
could get
that?
on and get off. It doesn't
Okay,
matter.
Right.
Here's what I could say. One of my favorite things to naysayers is this, and I tell agents this. You could listen to 100 calls of me saying this. I have seen this happen more than anything else. An agent will go in, invest in a market, invest in Zillow specifically, and they'll get sticker shock from the price. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I tell agents, you got 6 months to a year before you're in the black.
Yep.
And that's what it is. You're investing in your business, you're building your baseline, and you are growing what you're doing. And this is a big part of that, and finding the right way to invest. And with Zillow, you could replace your time with money.
Yep.
That's kind of what it is. And you still got to spend time. That doesn't go away completely.
Correct.
I've seen this so many times where an agent will advertise we do short-term contracts, 6 months. We even do month to month. I like this 6-month contract because it gives the agent enough time to invest and commit to themselves.
They need that.
It's not for Zillow. It's honestly for the agent. It's the best
Yeah.
thing for them over anyone else. But after the 6 months is over, let's say they're looking at maybe if they're lucky, they think they're going to break even. Then they keep working those leads. All of a sudden, 3 months after they cancel, I'm getting a call back like, "Hey, it turns out I did X, Y, and Z."
Right.
That one person had a home to sell as well.
Yeah.
And this other person I thought was like a no-go called me back, and this happened. I can't tell you how many times that I've had agents come back, try and buy the zip codes they lost because they let go and they didn't trust the process. Like, we have been around, and we're the juggernaut we are because we do offer some of the best quality leads that you could possibly find.
Agreed.
Because of the simple way that we talk to the consumer, still let them get to you, and get them to the expert, which is you guys, the real estate agents, to figure out what they're going to be. And every lead is going to buy. There's only two things that you need to worry about. When, and are they going to do it with you?
I mean, one of the things too, I got to give you credit on this, Sean, and I don't give many people this credit because I'm a straight shooter. You actually guide individuals on what to do and what not to do, and when they're spending money. I don't give a shit if it's $1,000 or $100,000, and how to make sure it makes sense for the ROI based on the data, because you've been doing this for 13 years and you've learned a lot on the pivoting and just the trends and all that other stuff. I mean, 13 years ago, it was not this. You know, it was completely different.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a lot of this in digital marketing. It was just getting started. So now, knowing that we have other competitors that are not the other Trulia's, Redfin's, it's just the social media. It's just the Google PPCs. There's so many other verticals for quote unquote competitors that you guys have still stayed top of market, top of mind, that people, when they think of real estate, usually they go to Zillow before anything. They would think of Zillow before they thought of Julian. I don't give a shit how that can be my best friend. But if they're just randomly going to look at something, they're not going to look at my email. They're going to look in the app that's downloaded in the phone. They might not have looked in a while because that's just what they spent billions of dollars implementing over the years across the world. Like when I'm in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, I still go to Zillow first. I do because I know it's easier and I know it's on my phone, but I also don't know what the fuck the MLS is out there. I don't know whatever. And you may or may not even have the data, but in my mind, it's just there.
It's a great starting point at the very minimum.
Right.
And honestly, it's easier to use than a lot of...
It is. It's user... I mean...
I tell people it's the biggest thing. It's user-friendly.
I don't want to say it's easier to use than every MLS out there, but...
I mean, it's because like Homes.com, the Realtor, all the other ones have same functionality or comparable, at least from an ease of use standpoint, but first to market. That's like comparing Airbnb to Vrbo.
Yeah.
Same concept, but they were there first. So when people think of short-term rentals, they call it Airbnbs. They don't call it short-term rentals. They're like, I need to buy some real estate. Oh, let's go check out Zillow. They don't say, oh, let's go to the MLS. Yeah. That's not what they do. That's just what's been programmed.
And that's where MLS is like even here, right? That it's like your back end system or your apps are not as user friendly, and it's like, you know, you get on there and it's like, where the fuck, this thing looks like it's from 1999 when the internet,
like pre us being alive. Yes,
yeah.
understood.
We did a lot of heavy lifting trying to work with every MLS in the entire country. We have teams dedicated to try and get consumers the best information possible in real time in every way we can.
When it comes to obviously the business you guys are in, and I don't know if you were at that level at any point where you were having conversations with these MLSs, do you guys ever get any pushback from certain MLSs not to join?
Yeah, I mean, Zillow is always. I'm in a lot of real estate group chats. I talk to a lot of agents. One of my favorite things is to go to, you know, like when I go to certain brokerages, especially larger ones, and this was more true years ago. I would make sure I had some type of Zillow swag on me so people knew exactly who I was.
Right.
Because I like to have those conversations.
Okay.
You know, like they expected me to come in with a twisty little mustache and like, you know, maniacal plans and laughter. And really, we just have a conversation. And a lot of times, it's just a lack of understanding of what it is Zillow does. Like, hey, you're going to take our jobs. You're going to take over. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. No, we found a need. We took a look at what the consumer needed. And we're trying to find a way to help them. And we need you real estate agents to help us do that and make commissions off of it. It's kind of interesting. So if you're not familiar with Zillow, I know you two are. But we're on a live connections or basically call connections model to make sure that these consumers are being taken care of. There was a huge reason we did this. I want to say it was 2016, maybe 2017, where we moved from basically an impression-based advertising model to a live connect model, which gave us a higher quality of leads, but got rid of a majority of the leads that came through. Like it was overnight. All of a sudden, you know, you'd get 100 leads, and now you're getting 17, 20. It's because we wanted to make sure that people that are actually ready to talk, that we did a live call with. But we had to do this because 50% of the leads that were going to Zillow were never getting responded to. A lot of people reaching out to listing agents. They would reach out to listing agent because they had the option to do that on Zillow.
Yep.
Like, we've never taken that away. We keep the listing agent's information's always been there. Like, you can do that.
Right.
And consumers normally think they're reaching out to the listing agent. They think everyone's a listing agent. That's how it goes, and that's okay. It's not the consumer's industry. It's their best interest to be able to find someone who's competent that'll help them. But listing agents have so much stuff going on, so we want to get them a buyer's agent that can actually guide them through the entire process.
Yep.
And with 50% of our calls not being picked up, this was such a huge pivot that I think helped us more than anything else. Was the fact that we found a way to make sure that no one can get ignored when they were ready to have a conversation. And I think that's where, Zillow broke the mold.
I agree. And what new things does Zillow have coming up? I know we've talked about a few other things offline, but like what's in the pipeline? Because I'm going to Vegas to see you in a few months out there.
You're going to be able to jump on your podcast after Vegas and share a whole bunch of amazing stuff.
That's good. Yeah. But give us a little teaser of what things that are coming up for, let's just say 2026. So technically it's already Q4 in our world. I'm
not going to do that.
Okay.
I will share this though.
Okay.
We are constantly throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. And we're like every single market, everywhere you go. Yeah. We are running multiple pilots to find different ways to make things better.
Okay.
I would say the real-time tours. That's when a consumer goes online and they say, "Hey, I would like to see this house," and we don't do a live connection call. That was something that was tested for a year or two until we even got it to the market-based pricing piloting range to where you guys could try it out for the first time. So there's constantly a lot of things we're doing, and there's a big one that's happening right now that I'm very excited about that you will not hear me talk into a mic about.
Okay.
But
so you know about this stuff, but you're waiting until the reveal in Vegas in early November.
It's not my place to put things out there.
Which
I love what we're doing.
Zillow corporate watching this is you've done a great job by training him the right way. He is loyal to you guys. I can't even get it out of him right now. So I'm actually that incentivizes me even more to make sure I'm going to be there the 3rd through the 6th of this year coming up in November.
Can I plug my code now? No, I'm just joking.
Plug it.
All right. If you want to go to Zillow Unlock on November 3rd through 5th at the Fontainebleau in Vegas, it's going to be a phenomenal. All agents are invited. You go to Zillow Unlock 2025, and you can put in my code for 20% off, and that's SPAYTON 20. So SPAYTON 20.
S Payton 20, all one word.
Yeah, I'm sure Julian will add a little link and throw in my code at the end of this.
We will. Is there an expiration date on that code?
There's not an expiration date on the code, but I think we're getting closer and closer to early bird, so this might be something you want to jump on right now if you want to get out there.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Fontainebleau. I'm excited to go. I'm very, very excited to go and see you there.
So
you're going too, right?
No.
He's actually going the week before.
Yeah,
they have
the week before.
Yeah,
just stay.
We're the whole week.
Oh yeah.
To be fair,
he's
three
on
small
flight.
kids.
Why
I got 3 small kids. No, usually I'm taking care of Julian's kids while
there
he's
we
gone.
go. He's done that one time.
No, they were just at the water park with me.
So now I understand why you're bald.
They were at a Polynesian festival with me.
To be fair,
shout out to the Rivera.
To be fair, they're just really comfortable being around his wife and his kids, not really him. Because they're an amazing family.
I'll be in Vegas the 24th, the weekend of the 24th, and then in November I'm going to Arizona.
Yeah, but he's a West Coast dude. Like he's been to Vegas many of times.
Oh,
like
Southern California.
Your daughter lives out in Vegas too, doesn't she? Yeah,
that's cool.
So
cool,
yeah. So he's
all
very
the more
familiar.
Reason to stay an extra couple days, man. It's gonna be an insane event. I know you saw some of the stuff. They're going to be talking about how to utilize AI, how to ultra power your follow-up boss stuff.
Yeah.
And even if you don't necessarily have follow-up boss, CRMs are interchangeable when it comes to methods, everything along those lines. It's going to be phenomenal. I've had agents meet friends for life and business partners that have just elevated their business because of it.
And just to be clear, there's no. I like VIP. I'm spoiled. But there's no VIP tickets. There's no nothing. There's only one type of ticket that anybody can get at this point.
Correct. You can just get in the door, and everyone's there. One cool thing about Zillow, and we're going to do this in our convention as well, is when I went to Zillow headquarters for the very first time. This is when Spencer was still our CEO. I went up to, I forgot which floor it was, and this is in Seattle, and his desk. Talking about the CEO of Zillow had a desk on the floor, just like me. His desk maybe was a little bigger than mine,
right?
But he's also a little smarter than me.
But he was in the room though, in the same room area.
In the room, approachable right there, and that's how these events are.
That's nice.
You're going to be able to meet mega agents, mega teams that you've never even heard of, people that are closing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in closings. and you're going to be able to see everyone who makes Zillow work on the back end.
Nice.
Well, not only that's a great point there, because every time we go to these events, that's who I want to meet. Is
Facts.
these other agents are doing way more than us. Also create those relationships. What are you doing? You gave me a great point even earlier while we were making this coffee. Something I never thought about, with the contract.
Yeah.
What was the point?
Write out the contract as far as what you think it means. So, like, if you're training an agent on a standard purchase agreement, write it out on a little piece of paper. Like, what do you think, in your words, what do you think this contract means?
Okay.
Yeah, just rewrite the contract as
In
you
your
write it,
words.
just using your own words.
Okay.
That show me the true understanding, not that you just did an autofill.
Interesting.
Yeah, versus me just going over,
Yeah.
this is what this paragraph means. This is what
Right.
this
Right.
Because usually I'll go over it. Second time I'll like fill in the blanks, and I think now third time it's like write it out for me.
I mean, it's almost like, I hate to say this, like dumb it down, because nobody's going to understand it like that day one. And even to this day, there's going to be so many changes. Like annually, there's always changes in the contract anyway. Small blibs here and there, but I know it's not just our area.
Yeah.
I know it's multiple different markets that do it this
Every
way.
time we go to Michigan, we go to Phoenix, I always come back with some little nuggets
Right.
from somebody else. That's just going to help out the firm
That's true.
as a whole.
And that's why you go with your best secret is no secrets.
Yeah.
We find something good, we got to scale it out and give
Yeah.
people around it and help everyone else.
Yeah, if these
Yeah.
other markets that don't have the luxuries like we do,
Yeah.
a ton of VA loans, super
Yeah.
dense,
Ton of VLA loans, multiple
ton of turnover.
springs.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
they're still
you
selling
guys
more houses
get
than we are.
Yeah, you guys get a winter spring.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. Like, we are in a top 25 market in the country, but there's other people that are not, and they're still selling more than us. Y'all are doing something right, in some way, shape, or form. So what's the secret sauce? "Quote unquote" secret sauce.
Yeah.
It's the playbook, right? But we're in that generation now that we all have a playbook because we have access to the world right here. But just because we have access to it doesn't mean that people are going to implement.
Yeah, and not only that, just from a smaller scale like us, like we have a private group page, and people will ask, have you used Follow Up Boss? Have you used this? Did it work? Did it not work? What's the pros and cons? That's the conversations we're having internally.
Yeah.
Versus now we are in that AI world. It's like, what is working for you guys?
Exactly. And it's still, you got to put no matter what it was, I don't care if it's a Rolodex or a supercomputer Arnold Schwarzenegger from the future that's there to like terminate deals or, or do that type of stuff. It's what you put into it.
Yeah.
Yes. This
Up to this point, there's still a human element behind all of it.
Yep.
there's always going to be a human element into dealing with humans.
It has to be.
It's
Yeah, nothing's gonna be automated.
Nah.
I don't think we as individuals I don't think we are the tools that AI is going to use right now. AI is a tool that we're going to use, but Follow Boss or Bold Trail or Ylopo, whatever it is, or a 3x5 note cards and a cork board, whatever it is, like it really doesn't matter. Whatever it is, like the best CRM is the one you use.
Yep.
The best tools you have are the ones you know how to use. And if you're not educating yourself on a regular basis and figuring out something new,
There you go.
You don't get to stand still anymore. You slide back.
What do they say? The acronym ABL, always be learning.
Learning.
Always be
Nice.
learning. So we get into a position now that we're not learning anymore because we get complacent. Because you might be at that place in business that, all right, every year I'm hitting these numbers or the squad's hitting these numbers or whatever the case may be, and you're just not growing anymore. Now, who am I to say? Like, I like to grow. Some people are just cool and chill. I mean, we live at the beach, man. A lot of people are here chilling. People can sell houses in their flip-flops out here. And shout out to LJ Hunt. He's not complacent, though. He's always hungry to go.
Yeah.
But just an example that we're not the suit and tie market that you probably see every
And
other
doesn't cut his
market.
toenails.
He doesn't.
And he still sells.
He still kills it. He slays it.
Shout out LJ.
Shout out.
Shout out LJ.
But again, there's no.
In negotiation, those toenails are helpful. Like I will cut
Yeah,
you.
he's like writing
I
out
will cut
numbers
you
on
with
the
my
floor.
pinky.
Like 3%.
Sign right here. Etched it.
Toe jam and blood. All right.
But there's so many ways that we can do it, and then this market here is just so unique. And you've seen other markets. I'm actually spoiled because I've only seen this market. I've traveled, but I've never had the luxury to live somewhere else. You told me the other day that you're from England. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you were born in England, and then you came here, early preteen era, and that's dope. You're from Cali and you're Mexican and you've been all over the world and you're here now. But the ironic thing is that you still stayed here to choose it as your home because you like it. Ain't nothing wrong with where you're at. You you read the room.
Mom sold 2 houses out there.
You see what I'm saying? So you're talking about moving out here potentially. You might never do that, but you at least know this is on the radar because this is one of the markets that's pretty fire. Because you get a little bit of everything out here.
Yeah.
It's just one of the things that we know. In this market, we're going to be able to win. It's just a matter of how much. But with AI and with all the other technology out there, it's not going to take the jobs. It's really who's using it is going to continue to stay in the business. And LJ, he made a very valid point yesterday. He makes points a lot, but in his own words, I won last year and this year Realtor of the Year by Coastal Virginia Magazine. It doesn't mean that I'm the best fucking realtor, even though it says that. It just means that more people voted for me.
Yep.
That's really what it is. It's a popularity contest. Thank you. I'm very, very appreciative. I want to be very clear because Iron Valley as well won the award last year and this year as well too.
Congrats.
But the dope thing about that is that, not the dope thing, the ironic thing about that is the people that are in front, regardless if they're good or not, usually are going to be the ones that win.
Yep.
Now, winning isn't just making more sales or making more bread or whatever. There's many different verticals underneath that word success that we talk about. So how are you utilizing the tools to stay in front of people, which that's what I think people get so nervous about when they say AI is taking the jobs. Nah, bro, it's not taking the jobs. They're enhancing the people that know how to utilize that to get more business and to help and serve more clients. Because when they win, we win by default. So are you going to use the fucking tools or are you going to complain about it all day?
Yeah,
Your choice.
Yeah, let's go back to the 50s when you couldn't print out a picture of the property. You had to have photos. Then we jumped to the 90s where you actually had a book delivered to you for real estate and you could actually like grab those printouts and choose 3 houses and show homes. And then we fast forward to the mid 2000s where the Zillows, the Trulias are empowering the consumer. And what we see is more and more sales. These are just tools.
I have a great idea. Let's go back and make it so it's 90-day closings because I have to drive the contract to you. And then when you counter, you got to drive it to me across town. And then when we counter back, the fax machine broke. So then we got to drive back and then no, I'm good. So imagine coming from that, well, not imagine, it's reality. Coming from that era where the average closing time is 30 days. And that's still giving buffer time for errors.
Yep.
Realistically, you can close in a house in 2 weeks if everything was on point. Mm-hmm. Sometimes less, but you're not going to do that. It makes no sense to rush somebody in that scenario when it's not going to be conducive to what the client's trying to do. But what you guys are doing at Zillow is staying really ahead of the game. You're providing opportunities. To be fair, it's not cheap. You got to pay to play, but it's also when you get in that room, it's up to you what you do with it. You can get all the damn leads in the world. Are you converting? Are you getting them? Are you growing the relationships? Do you have people helping you cultivate that trust that's needed very quickly, typically, so you can have that client work with you and your team and service them to the best of your ability because you know what you're going to do.
Yep.
They don't. So how can you educate them on the fly? And if I was going to give a tip for Zillow is a lot more short, because the attention spans aren't here as much as they used to be. I don't give a shit if you're 60 years old or 15 years old. It's very common because we're all getting programmed the same way with these algorithms.
The shorts, the TikToks.
If Zillow could do something in the back end from a training area with shorter micro-learning videos, that would be vitally helpful. And what I mean by that, short-form learning, all right? Because mad people absorb short-form content. Like, when's the last time you actually saw a reel that was more than 3 to 4 minutes?
Have you been on our Zillow Academy?
I have, but
there's a lot of 15-minute ones, but there's a lot of like 2-minute trainings and things like that too.
We need more of those, right? And we might even need 30-second versions of the same topic broken down into 6 instead of 1 3-minute. Because now, what do people like to do? Scroll and swipe. So if they're addicted to doing that, which we all are here in some way, you got to admit, you're either scrolling up or you're swiping left. And many different applications. Yeah. If it's something that I can swipe and keep going instead of just sitting there have to watch and get bored because our attention span isn't what it used to be when we were growing up, that right there is more engaging because you're still forcing them to learn by engaging with it. That's just a little tip I'd put out there. I
like that actually.
I have not seen any other real estate company do that because now it's like if I'm engaging with it by having to swipe instead of just sitting there, I'm not the person to sit there for 10 minutes and then I'm like, I forgot.
Like how you come back, was I paying attention?
Right. You see what I'm saying? It's micro engaging, AKA I just made that term up. That swiping is what will keep people in the loop to learn.
It was kind of interesting on the back end, on the internal training that I do. They do a lot of that. You know, it'll be a 45-minute training that I have to go through because it's just part of the deal.
Right.
But throughout the entire thing, it's segments of like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute. Here, learn this, answer this, learn this, activity, learn that. And that's kind of how our ZGU or Zillow University stuff is set up. But I'll bring that one back. I'll see if I'll send it to the right people. I think that makes sense.
It's just a good idea. I mean, I've seen that out here and what we've done and what's happening, and nobody's even doing it to that level. You guys have the resources. So that's just another trendsetter. And just, if you do that, just make sure I get my 5% royalties. That's all I care about.
Yeah, but we give it away for free, so it's not going to be a lot.
5% on every lead that you sell in the world. It's all good. No big deal.
Yeah, but that's not what it is. Yeah, no.
I'll take one.
It's 5% on the revenue from the training, which would still be zero. So.
I'll do 0.5%. I'm not greedy.
Yeah, you get 0.5% of zero.
Yeah, I don't remember paying for it. But
and by the way, I'm not the one to promise anything, but I'm pretty sure if there's no revenue generated from it, I probably won't get in too much trouble. Yeah.
You know what I love is just the conversations you can have, because growth is real, and the people that want to grow always talk about different ideas. Mm-hmm. It just takes one. It just takes one to hit, like, oh, that was dope. Let's go.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's same with like those YouTube shorts that you're seeing now. You can watch the video, but underneath it, you have the YouTube shorts. Yep. It's the same concept, but it's it's relatable content, not the same joint, not the same video, but it's something that you already have the content. Just cut it up.
And shorts, like even if it's just an average, like you use a short to like, hey, this is a really good point. Let people take this one thing that you can take away from it, and then you have the expanded version.
There.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Really dope.
I love the. Like most people only absorb a certain thing. I'm that way. My attention span is definitely diminished.
Correct.
A bunch over the last COVID.
Yeah. It happens, bro. It happens to all of us. So, Sean, we want to thank you for being on the show today, bro.
Thanks so much.
Seriously.
I really appreciate it.
This wasn't that hard, right?
No. Did we start?
Dude, all right, before we get off, how can people find you, bro? On social, on Zillow, or on any potential clients that want to try to invest into the Zillow and any of the markets? Kind of give us that spiel of where you are.
Easiest way to reach out to me, in all honesty, and I don't put myself out that way. I would love them to reach out to you. That's the way I'm gonna go.
He's a secret ninja.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I always offer the best service I possibly can.
Correct.
I have emails out there, but if you know Julian, please reach out to him, and he will help connect.
There you go.
Right.
It's because it's not that he doesn't do the work, but he enjoys the middle. He enjoys the connection, because, to be fair, it's like a referral, right? If I get the referral from you about Edgar, it's a warmer referral going that way instead of a random person. Hey, I saw you on a podcast. I live in Wichita. I'm pretty sure you don't want those calls.
I have no problem with those calls, but it's also bandwidth.
It's also true.
We have a lot of different reps. If it comes to me, I might give someone who has better local knowledge than I.
There you go.
Have in that area,
that's a good answer.
I want anyone to come here to be taken care of.
That's a really good answer. Yeah, because you only service certain areas. That's why there's more.
I can cover the entire U.S.
But there's certain people in certain places.
But he's saying
sense.
he can't.
But I'm saying someone might be better than I am.
So call.
In other words,
call Edgar Munoz at 757-SPHERE. All right, that's where you get in contact with him at. No, but seriously, Sean, thank you for being on the show today, bro.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I
appreciate it.
I'll see you in a few months.
Take it easy, man.
Edgar, and then it's DJ Julian Rivera signing out here. Your Peak Life podcast. Please subscribe. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Hit that like button. Any engaging that you want to do will really help every hair on Edgar's head grow back. So the more you engage, the better. At DJ Julian Rivera,
got more
Instagram,
forehead
Facebook,
than he
X.
got body.
Signing out. Later.